Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Wezo88. Today I am doing a review and tutorial on how I keep my eyebrows trim as well as shading them in to make them look straighter. I had this request many times before and I wanted to do a very thorough review just concentrating on eyebrows in general. So let's jump right into it. A couple things about Korean eyebrows is that you would think that they look very straight, and what I believe is that I don't think a lot of people are born with completely dead-on straight looking eyebrows, because we all have this brow bone, and you know, when we move it, we have a slight arch right there. I'm not wearing any color or shading on my brows today because I wanted to show you how they look before I shade them in. When I'm thinking of Korean celebrities, I think that they're just like every one of us. They don't have eyebrows. They don't all have eyebrows that look really straight. To name a few, I would say SES, a member there, Eugene. She had very arched brows, or brows that weren't really straight, but they looked very natural. Another one would be Cheju. She had brows that looked, I think, very similar to Eugene's. They were very arched at the top and very light at the ends. I really love these two celebrities, and I've always wanted brows just like them. Believe it or not, when I was younger, I wanted their brows so much, I sort of shaved my ends and they didn't grow back for the longest time. So I suggest you don't ever do that. But yeah, I mean, eyebrows, whether they're arched, whether they are not arched, it's all about making them look natural as possible, as full as possible. I've mentioned in my past makeup tutorials when I do my eyebrows that you want them looking very youthful. When I'm doing K-pop inspired looks especially, I always say make them look bushier and youthful looking. And that's what I really mean. The pictures that I just showed you and the pictures I'm going to show you later of the Korean celebrities, you will see that there's a common trend in shaping the brows and shading them in. And you'll notice very closely that the front end to the mid portion of your brow needs to be tousled and going in an opposite direction. And the rest of the hair from the mid to the end goes straight down. So it's a very tousled, youthful way look, and that's the look that we want to achieve if you want to get Korean celebrity eyebrows. In shaping our eyebrows, there's only 3 things that you really need. The first is my Flamingo eyebrow shaver, and it looks like this, and there's a flamingo on the bottom. I've shown this a couple times in my past videos, and I like this the best. You don't necessarily need to use this same exact eyebrow shaver. I love this because unlike others, the blade is very long, so it's easy to maneuver around your brows in terms of making them straighter. And the blade, if you can see, is sharp enough to really get the shape that you want in one go, but it's not too sharp that it's gonna cut into your skin as we move it around. So I really love and recommend this shaver. And also a good thing about this is I've used the same exact one for a couple months now, and it has yet to grow dull. It comes in a pack usually of 3. This one has Japanese instructions on here because I didn't get this at a Japanese store. I got it in a Korean market, but I guess it was imported from Japan. But I believe that they make this also with American instructions. I don't necessarily know where it originally originated from, but I will provide a good reliable link below in my comment box, so I hope you check that out. The second thing that we need are very sharp scissors. something like this. It doesn't have to be decorated, but I had these scissors right here. The ends are very pointy, and we want these scissors. It's an optional item, I suppose, but I like using this when I am cutting some of the longer hairs that I will show you later on. The last thing that you would need, of course, is what you shade your eyebrows in with. There are so many out there: eyebrow shadows, eyebrow mascaras, eyebrow crayons, as well as eyebrow markers and eyebrow pencils. So there are so many out there. I've tried most of them, but what really works for me in terms of getting straighter brows are two: eyebrow crayons and eyebrow pencils. I love using both because it's just so much easier knowing that you have a steady grip on something when you're drawing your brows in or shading your brows in. And also the fact that it comes with your handy little brush at the end. I don't really discriminate in what brand you should get in terms of choosing your eyebrow sticks. The three that I usually use are Etude House one called Easy Brow Pencil, and this is a pencil type. I also use Etude House Drawing Eyebrow, and this is a crayon type. I also use FaceShop, and I ran out of this, but I have a little bit left. It's a gray. So I don't have that many excess hairs on top because I did trim them a couple days ago. So, but what you want to do is place the blade right here, a couple centimeters away from the actual brow line, and you want to push it down slowly. Because if you go whoosh, it's just gonna, you know, cut your entire brow all together. So we're just really combing down the fine lines, and as we comb down, the hairs will all be cut. So I'm just following the general line of my brow shape. We're not doing anything to make them look intentionally straighter just yet. And I'm doing the same thing to the other side. I'm just pushing the blade downwards as well as the bottom. Now you are left with brows without any little small hairs messing around the edges, so they look cleaner. I'm going to push down the blade very slowly, as straight as possible, and I'm going to rest it right on top of my brows. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to slightly go back and forth. And going back and forth is going to make the edges straighter. Like that. And I'm going to do that. And this is where the long blade comes in handy. Because the longer the blade, we're not, you know, we're taking up as much of the eyebrow space as possible. So I'm just going back and forth. I'm not pushing it down, I'm just bringing it back and forth. And if you see, it has made it very much straighter than before. Now the optional step here is taking our little scissors. And if you're like me, I have very long strands of hair. And sometimes when we want to shade them in a very lighter color, or want the shadow to look more matte, we want our actual strands of eyebrow hair to be a little more shorter, not too long, because then the hair is going to stick out and the shadow is not going to look at all natural. So we want our hair to look a little bit trim. I'm not going to do anything to the front few hairs because we want this to be tousled in the end. So when we're looking at the hairs to cut, I'm looking more towards the ends, so the middle to the ends. I'm just going to slightly take my finger and sort of move the hairs in the opposite direction so I can see the length of my hair, like that. And after teasing it, I'm just gonna snip the top off. Just very slightly. I'm not cutting it completely, just the top. And really tousling it towards the opposite way makes them stick out even more. So that's how it looks right now. Now I'm going to show you 3 different ways of shading in your eyebrows. The first way is very much inspired by Lee Min-jung. And she's a Korean actress, and I think her eyebrows are always very, very natural. Very straight, very natural, and clean. I'm using my crayon eyebrow stick in gray. I am just lining the top and the bottom. And in a way, I feel like crayons work a lot better than pencils. Like that. Only lining the top, making it straight, and the bottom, and shading the rest in. Then working down the curvature of my brow. I see where it ends, and I'm extending it out even more to where my eye ends. And I am just working back up to fill in the shape. And that's all I'm doing. And that's how it should come out. Now, to brighten up our face, I usually like to use a brown colored eyebrow pencil to shade in my brows. Doesn't really matter if you have dark hair like I do, or if you have light hair. If you look at IU's picture, she has very nice honey brown colored hair, and her light eyebrows really complement her hair color as well. But you don't need to have light color that she has to use a brown toned eyebrow pencil. If you look at this picture of Jessica from 소녀시대, you can see that she has light blondish orange hair and darker brows. So this is showing you that you can use whichever color that you want, regardless of your hair color, as long as it really looks natural on your face. So I'm going to use a brown eyebrow stick from Missha, and it looks the same. It has the brush in one end and the color on the other. And I'm just going to use this brown shade. It's a dark brown, definitely lighter than the gray. So this side is still the gray colored, and this side I just wiped all the color off. So I'm starting from the beginning and using my Missha brown colored eyebrow stick. I'm doing the same thing of lining the top and the bottom. And this is where the trimming of our long hairs come into use, because now that our strands of hair are matter and flatter to the surface of our face, it's easier to blend in the color. So I'm just doing the same thing. Of course, the brown is not going to look as natural as my gray, but it does brighten up your face. So those are my brows. You can see this one is definitely lighter than that one. This part really lightens up your face, and this one is more natural. So that's it for today on my Korean eyebrow tutorial. I hope it gave you a better insight as to how Korean eyebrows look in terms of getting them straighter and more youthful looking. So it's all about really lining and shading the front to the mid portion of your brow, regardless of how straight or how arched your brows are naturally. So hope you put this to good use. This is Wezo88, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye, guys.